Hi everybody! This morning I'm gonna make a delicious Mexican breakfast. Spam and eggs with a salsa ranchera and refried beans. And when it comes to a hearty breakfast, this one is hard to beat. And today I'm gonna show you how to make it, step by step. Let's get started. I wanna start out by making my salsa ranchera. In this bowl, I have 4 small green onions and I just chopped them up in small pieces. And I also have 1/4 of a yellow onion and it's just roughly chopped because I like texture. And here I have 2 small medium tomatoes, also just roughly chopped. I have 2 large serrano peppers and I left the seeds, but you can remove the seeds if you don't want the heat. And I've got some cilantro, this is optional. And I'm gonna be using 1/3 of water with a little salt and pepper. So let's go to the stove. Start out by making my salsa ranchera, and I'm gonna be using this medium-sized skillet. And I've got my heat set on medium. I have 1.5 tablespoons of vegetable oil, and I'm gonna put them in here. And I'm gonna wait until it gets nice and hot. I'm gonna add my onions. You always wanna put your onions first because you want them to release their flavor. If you add anything else, it'll release liquid and then you won't have this nice sizzle. And they release their flavor better when you put them in by themselves. So it's been about 1 minute and the onions have released their flavor. I can smell them. Super delicious. Now I'm gonna add my serrano peppers. And I'm just gonna move them around like this for about 1 minute. So it's been 1 minute, see, and it smells so good in here. Now I'm gonna add my garlic. I have 1 garlic clove, finely minced. I'm gonna move it around for about 1 minute only because you don't want your garlic to burn. So it's been 1 minute. And the garlic has released its flavor. Delicious. Now I'm gonna add my tomatoes. And I'm gonna add my cilantro. That's good. See? I'm gonna add a little salt. And I'm gonna add some pepper, only because I like pepper in everything. So now I'm gonna add my water. Now you don't want it very soupy. You just want a little bit of it like this. Now I'm gonna lower the heat to low and I'm gonna replace my lid and I'm gonna let it simmer there until I'm ready to use it. Every now and then I'll come and give it a nice stir. Now I'm ready to start on my refried beans. I'm gonna be using this medium-sized cast iron skillet and I've got my heat set on medium. I'm gonna add some of my bacon grease, see? So I'm gonna put in about 3 tablespoons of bacon grease. Just do them more or less. You can't go wrong if you put a little bit more. See? And I'm gonna wait until this bacon grease gets nice and hot. So my bacon grease is nice and hot. I'm gonna add my onions. See, this is about 1/4 cup of finely chopped onions. And I'm gonna move them around so they can release their flavor into the grease. Smells like heaven in here. Now I'm gonna add my beans and you can add as much as you want. Now as you can see, there's ham hocks in here. These are smoked ham hocks and that's what gives these beans the best flavor. And I think that's good right there. I'm gonna wait until they get real nice and hot. Now as you can see, my beans have started to boil. You wanna keep it at a low boil. Now I'm ready to mash these beans. See, I'm gonna mash them up really good like this. So I'm done mashing my beans. Every now and then you're gonna see a little bubble popping up, you see? Now you want to give them about a minute or so in between stirring. What's happening is that there's plenty of bacon grease in there and they're going to crust at the bottom. And then you want to stir it around and you want to bring the crust up to the top, and then you want to give the rest of the beans a chance to crust. And when you continue the process, they're getting real nice and refried. So I'm going to leave them like this for about a couple of minutes, and then I will give them a stir and I will continue that process. So while my beans are refrying on the stove and my salsa ranchera is on a low simmer, I'm gonna make some flour tortillas. Now I have my tortilla testalitos already done. I made them last night, see? And I cover them up like this and I put them in the fridge. I think that they spread out so nice the morning after, see? Now you wanna put a little bit of flour right here on your counter. Just a little bit, because they're a little damp since they were in the refrigerator. But you don't want to put a lot of flour because you don't want to dry them up. Now I have a video where I'm making flour tortillas. I'll put a link below. Now when I make tortillas here in Ohio, I always put just 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder. For some reason, the tortillas are different here in Ohio than they are in Texas, okay? Not too much baking powder here. It took me a while to have to adjust to the baking powder here and the baking powder over there. So here we have one. I'm gonna take it to the stove. Now as I'm making my tortillas, you can see my salsa is simmering and my beans are getting refried over here. I'm gonna give them a nice stir. Now, as you can see, my beans are almost done. They've got about 1 minute or 2 to go. I'm gonna add my tomato flavored chicken bouillon in here, only because it gives it a delicious flavor. And then just stir it in here. I think you need to try it if you never have, because these will be the best refried beans you've ever had. So now that I have stirred in the tomato flavored chicken bouillon in here, I'm gonna lower my temperature to low, and I'm gonna let them simmer here until I'm ready to use them. So now that my salsa ranchera is simmering and it's ready to go, and so are my beans and my tortillas, I'm ready for the star of the show. This is 1 12-ounce can of Spam, see? Now, if you've never had Spam, I think you should, because it is delicious. So I'm gonna open up this can, see? Now what I do is I just turn it around and I bang it like that and it comes out. So now I'm gonna cut it up into little cubes. So you wanna start out by slicing it like this. My mom used to make this breakfast all the time when we were young growing up, and it is a family favorite. When I am really hungry for a hearty breakfast, this is what I prepare. Very easy, see? See how they're cut into little cubes about this size? See? That's what you want. I'm gonna put it in this bowl and head to the stove. So I'm ready to prepare my Spam. I'm gonna be using this large non-stick skillet, and I've got my heat set on medium. I'm gonna add some vegetable oil, and I need some vegetable oil in here for the next ingredient after the Spam. I'm gonna wait till it gets nice and hot. I'm gonna be moving it around until it gets just a little golden. I like a little sear on it. See how they're nice and gold? That's what we want, because this brings out the flavor in the Spam. So my Spam is nice and golden and seared on all sides. See? As you can see, some of them look nice and gold. That's because they're seared really well. Now I'm gonna lower the temperature all the way down to low. I'm gonna beat my eggs. I've got 6 eggs in here, and these are large eggs. I'm gonna beat these really well. See, just like this. Now I'm gonna add my water. This will make your eggs a lot fluffier. I'm gonna add some pepper. And I'm gonna mix it in together like this. I'm gonna pour them in here. You see, it's important to have the heat on low because you don't want your eggs to burn. If you see that your eggs are brown, then you know you've burned them. Just like that. See, you want nice, soft, fluffy eggs. Look at the eggs. They're so nice and fluffy. Now I'm ready for my salsa ranchera. Look at that. I'm gonna pour this on top. And I'm gonna bring it in together like this. Ooh. And I've got some cheese right here. This is freshly grated Colby Jack. You can use any kind of cheese that you want. And the cheese is optional. Not everybody likes cheese in here, but you don't want a lot, just a little bit, just to give it that nice, delicious flavor. And now I'm just gonna fold it over with the cheese in there like this. Oh my gosh. See, just like that. Now I'm gonna replace my lid. I'm gonna turn off the heat and I'm gonna let them sit there for a couple of minutes. Everything's ready and we're ready to serve. Oh, look at that. See? So now we can serve. Oh, look at that. Now the refried beans. Ooh. And look at this. Look at these soft, beautiful tortillas. See? Oh, man. So I'm gonna show you how I like to eat this. I'm gonna get my soft tortilla. I'm gonna put some of my refried beans right here. And I'm gonna smear them like this. See? And I'm gonna put some of my Spam and eggs with salsa ranchera. See? And I'm gonna put some of my everyday salsa on top. Just a little bit, not too much, because it can get a little messy. See? Then you wanna roll it up like this. And it's time for the taste test. Oh my gosh. And then some hot coffee. It doesn't get any heartier than this. So this is my Spam and eggs with salsa ranchera, my refried beans, and my homemade flour tortillas. And this is a delicious Mexican breakfast. If you like my video, give me a thumbs up. Send me your name and tell me where you're from. Thank you.